Hi everybody, this is Diane. I'm about to do a little bit more work on these cheery house journals. They're called that because of this fabric. They look like cheery houses. They're just cheery journals. And I got so far as to stitch my signatures to a piece of file folder. And when I spoke about putting them into how I was going to connect the signatures to the spine, I said I wasn't exactly sure what I was going to do, and some of you were interested to see how I would do it. So I'm going to show as much of it as I can here. Let me start with this one. This is the one that will be in the shop, because I want you to see this step, and it's kind of like the hidden spine that I did with the glue books recently. I cut my piece of green file folder 2.25 inches wide to accommodate 5 signatures. And it is the height of just a little bit bigger than the signatures themselves as far as height. Well, maybe there's about 1/4 inch on each, on the top and the bottom. I wanted it to be, here's how I did the measurement. I wanted it to be very slightly smaller than the height of the journal. And I'm going to use this fabric, and it will be glued to the inside of the journal. So I'm going to try to center this piece on there and then glue it. Today is Thursday, the Thursday before Easter, and I have things that I need to do for our Easter dinner. So I don't know if there will be any more videos until after Easter. But I really am trying to act like a retired person. So when my son texted me to see if I was interested in going on a road trip, he had to drive. He does some driving for sorry, for a local funeral home sometimes. He had to go a couple hours away to pick up a deceased person. And he does it by himself, but he just asked if I wanted to ride along, keep him company. And my first thought was, I've got so much to do. And then I thought, but I want to spend time with my son. So we did. I rode in a hearse. It was very nice. It was a Cadillac hearse. And we just drove all the way. He had to make a couple other stops too for the same. I did not center that very well, but I'm not going to worry about it. I could trim that to make it even, which I might do. So the next thing I would do, did I bring it in here? I didn't. Let me go get it. It's out in the living room. It is not in the living room. Thought it was in my pouch, my bookbinding pouch. Well, I would measure a piece of paper the same size as this, and then I measure it out and mark where my stitches will be. I mark the holes. I'm sorry, I'm having some trouble with my chest, my bronchial tubes. So it's not painful, it just makes me want to cough all the time, which I've been doing for weeks now, it seems. You've seen me make my templates for putting the holes in, so I'm sorry I don't have that with me. So then I would punch the holes in this, and then I would sew the signatures to this until it looks like this. Here it is with all of the signatures in. I put the knots on the outside. I use a 5-hole pamphlet stitch and put the knots on the outside, or away from, usually the knots are here inside, but this way they'll be hidden away because they'll be glued down into the book. So I have enough fabric left over here to glue down. And the reason I did this, because in the other journal that I did like this, I just sewed the signatures right to this, but I had such a hard time figuring out where they were supposed to be, especially with the wraparound. I can't just fold it in half and say this is the center of the spine, because this has to be taken into account, and somewhere around here is the center of the spine, you know what I mean? So in order to get this lined up the way I want it, I had set this down on here and kind of wrapped the front cover around. And it's okay if it hangs over the pages a bit, but I didn't want it hanging over too far. So I think this was a good height. And then pull this over, and yes, that all looks very good that way. And then I've got my closure already sewn on, so I'll talk about that in a minute. I marked with pencil where this is going to go. So that's what I'm going to do right here. I'm going to glue that in. So before I do that, I don't want to handle it much while the glue is drying, so let me talk about the closure. This is a vintage embroidered belt that I got at a flea market, and I've had it for a while, and it's just so beautiful. And maybe you think it doesn't go with this because there's just too many patterns, and I questioned it for a while. I left it wrapped around it overnight and then came in and looked at it, and I love it, and it's my journal, so I'm going to go with it. And it gives me the chance to keep this gorgeous belt. This is not one of the items that I would find every day at a flea market, so I'm going to keep it, and I already stitched it here. So then I will just, let me put this in here so we can see. I would cut some of this belt off. This end is already cut, so I don't really need it to be that long, so I'll probably cut it off somewhere around here and then stitch the end closed. So let's glue. And then I want to talk about putting a pocket on the inside, and I've got some fun options. So stay tuned for that. Or forward past the gluing stage. But I kind of have to have this glued in before I decide on a pocket, because I need to know how much room I have. Oh, what I want to do, sorry, I should glue along the top here and on the file folder, not the flaps. I put some glue on the flaps. It's not a big deal, but one thing at a time makes it easier. I have two different shades of thread there because I ran out of the lighter colored one. But it doesn't matter because these stitches will be hidden, and the stitches that you can see in the center of the book, you only see one signature at a time, and I don't think anybody's going to say, hey, this is darker color than the other one. Besides, it's fine. Make sure I have it right side up and line it up with my pencil marks. Press down on the file folder, and then you can go in between the signatures and press down. I still have to add some things inside the journal. I still have some piles here of things that didn't get used that I could use, and also over here I have some pieces that can be used, tucked into bigger pockets and used for journaling. So I neatened everything up, I organized into piles, and then when I'm done putting the journals together I can go back through and add some more stuff. This is where I put glue. When I shouldn't have. If I wanted to hide the raw edge here, I could put a trim, ribbon, lace, something down there, but I don't know if I will. And if I did do that, I would want to do that before I add the pocket, I think. The funeral home that my son, he's like, it's not a full-time job, but if they need something they can call on him if he's available. And they do cremations, and a lot of funeral homes don't have that, so within a certain parameter, if the family wants cremation, the other nursing homes and hospitals around will contact the one that he works for. So that's why he had to go 2 hours away to pick up someone so that they could do the cremation, and then they will have to deliver the ashes back. Somebody will, not necessarily my son, but it could be. So this is a little bit bigger, you know, a bigger lip here than I might like. But also, if I'm going to fill the book up, it'll pop it up more, and I'll need more space. So it's fine, as long as I would make sure it stays down as I wrap this up, instead of getting all folded up and crumpled, you know what I mean? So I think this is pretty good. Let's talk about the pockets. I wondered if my tablecloths and things, if I might have something that would work, my tablecloth pieces, because they're very homey. So I found a piece, I found an apron. The pockets are gigantic, but I cut this pocket out. It has 4 pockets. This is the one I cut out to use, but here are, they look like cross stitch, but they're printed on. Aren't they pretty? So this is the one I chose. Can you see why? And I cut it off the backing part right here. It was just way too big, so I had to cut it down anyway. And I would love to leave these flowers on there, but it's just too big, so I think I will cut the flowers off and bring it down And I think that is just the right size. And maybe I will use these elsewhere in my journal. I could put them on the back cover, maybe. Back inside cover. So I'm going to add that. I wanted to make homemade rolls. I like to make crescent rolls for Easter dinner. And my kids like Buckeyes, peanut butter balls dipped in chocolate, which I made for Christmas, but I think I could make them egg-shaped, but I just stick with the Buckeyes. They're easier. I don't want to fuss. And I haven't made coconut eggs in quite a few years, several years anyway, because some of my family doesn't like coconut, but some of us do, and I do. So I want to make coconut eggs too. So when I got home from riding with my son, I mixed up the peanut butter candy. It's shaped into the balls, and now it's in the fridge chilling, and I will dip it in chocolate this evening, and I'll have that out of the way. Then I'll just have to make the rolls and the coconut eggs. Of course, I'm doing the ham dinner too. Alright, so we have a pocket here. And what should I do back here? I could just add that on there, but I don't know if I will. It's kind of cute, but maybe it would be better off being used on one of the pages. I could put a matching pocket on the back. There are 4 pockets, so I could put 2 in each journal. This one does have not a house, but a barn back here, a barn and a silo. So maybe on the other journal I could put the flower basket on the front and this one on the back. I want to use up some of this stuff that I've been hoarding. I guess on these pockets I figured I would use them on a large domestic arts journal. I'm not sure if this is going to work. Yeah, I'd have to fold it up around. So I think I'll put a smaller pocket on the back. That's not much smaller, is it? Or maybe I don't need a pocket on the back. Look at this. These are household items. There's a little store. I think this was a tablecloth. Oh, it still is. I haven't cut it up yet. And somebody put some binding on it. Maybe something from here would be cute to put on there. I know I have a mishmash of colors and things, but I don't care. I like it. I think I like this coffee pot, but this might be big. Or I like this right here. I also really like this oval. It says George Batty's Wholesale and Retail Confectioner and Fruiterer. I've never heard of a fruiterer. You would think that one would be enough. Fruiter. Never heard of that either. I'm gonna kind of shape this a little bit. I would like to keep that pretty pink scoop, but it's just too big. Okay, so I think I have to cut some of this off. Okay, that'll work. But I think perhaps I will add it to a different piece of fabric and kind of zigzag stitch it on because of the irregular shape. And it'll just be a square. Just because I don't know, I think it will be more sturdy if I do that. So I'm not going to do that in this video, but that's what I will do. I'll sew it to a piece of linen or something and then glue it to the pocket or to the back cover. On this one, I added this piece. I don't know what I'm going to use to wrap around it yet, but I like this here, and so I should have, maybe I'll attach something here to wrap around it. Mine attaches here in the back. So there's different ways you can do things. So now this is done except for filling in. Got a few minutes, so maybe I'll go through and see what I can add. I've got some more of the house images and cards and just miscellaneous things. I don't know what this is. Came with a game, I think. I'm just going to tuck that in there. Oh, I stamped this. Do something creative every day. And that kind of goes along with what I say at the end of my videos. Have a creative day. I have to back the pieces that aren't backed yet. I need something back there. Put a to-do list back there. Don't even have to fold it. I have this little piece that I just got from Peggy in a Happy Mail. Kind of what I'm doing over here. Oh well. I think I'll add one of these yellow dot matrix, I guess. Is that what they're called when they have those holes in the side? Anyway, a card from Computer Printouts stuff. I think I will have fun playing in this journal. I think I'll put some numbers or something up there, but I don't want to get that pouch out right now with my digital numbers. Didn't put anything here. I think that's a note card. Yep. You're kind of getting a flip through here, but I'm still going to do a flip through. Here I tucked in a tag, so I will do something to that. I'll emboss it or glue an image to it or something. Can't just leave it plain. I think I already have one of these in. I don't know. I guess I'll just put that in. Sorry, I'm muttering. That's a pretty tall one. I think I might end up putting a smaller picture in there. I have a lot of chairs. I was cutting up more. Oh, I got them right here. I was cutting up more. Let's put something besides a chair in there. It all came out of a book. Here's a smaller chair. There. That looks better. I want a little bit of color here. Green ones are skinnier. So that one shows up more. Feels like there's two there, but they're not. It's only one. It has two pieces in it. The end. And I'll tuck something in that pocket when it's done. So, I guess this evening while I watch TV, I will sew the other signatures onto its piece, and then I'll be able to glue it together. And the next video you see will be a flip through of the one that's going in my shop, since you've pretty much seen this one. If you want, I can do a quick flip through of that also, of this one also, but with everything done in it. I think they're fun, and I hope you enjoyed the process with me. We're almost done. So come on back to see the final flip through, and I will let you know when that other one will be listed in my shop. Thank you so much for watching today, and I will see you in the next video. Do something creative every day.